All right, it's cold this morning. I just got out here with a 99 Chevy Blazer. Just met the owner. They were driving it the other day. It drove fine. It's been driving fine. It got a new transmission this summer, maybe last summer, I don't remember. Something about this or this last summer. But drove it and then it wouldn't do anything. This was on the weekend. I was actually out of town this weekend, so it's Monday. They've had this towed back to their house on the other side of town, so let's figure out what's going on. All right, first things first, let's hook this up. Actually, first things first, let's see if the lights come on and everything. That's a click and a little click. Could be starter. Let's make sure we're getting a start signal and then we'll go from there. We don't have any check engine lights. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say I'm gonna run a diagnostic. While I do that, I can already see there's no check engine lights. I'm gonna check the battery light. Was what I was gonna say is while that's running. I just saw one of these batteries last week. They can have some connection issues, but just like any other battery. I guess I could finally peel the screen off of this. Look, it says it's on. It took it a second to come on and it says it has 0 volts, so that ain't looking right to me. Normally it'll show me right here how many volts it has at the beginning. Bad connection maybe, perchance. Squeeze these harder, come on. Terrible. Okay, might need to be jumped off. I'm gonna clean up that connection regardless. I see this so often. So I'm not really convinced it is anything with the battery, especially because that usually makes multiple clicks, not one click. But since I can't really test it, I do want to make sure that it's got a good connection and I can test that first and rule out a bad battery connection and make sure it's actually the starter, which I think it is. So we're about to find out. I want to take this battery off. Let me tell you about these shoes I'm testing out today. These are Larnmern work shoes. I've been using these shoes for a few days. You can tell I've been rolling all over the ground. They're super durable, not even any scuffs. The shoe's super flexible and really comfy to use all day long. I've had similar style work boots in the past that were way heavy. This one's pretty lightweight. Watch what happens when I try and stab it with a mechanic's pick. It just bends the tip of my pick. These things are strong. So of course I had to test them with something a little heavier. This time I ran my truck over them to see if I could crush the toes. Obviously these are some pretty nice protective shoes. That truck didn't do a thing. I think these shoes are great for working on cars in, especially because there's often heavy things hanging above our feet. If something falls, you don't want it to crush your toe. And these are really comfortable to work in. These are definitely my go-to work boots I'll be wearing in the nice cool weather this fall. So let's get back to it. So if you want some good work shoes, make sure you check out these Larnmerns. Larnmern's giving my channel an extra good discount, so make sure you check out the link in the description and the pinned comment to get your own. Okay, the colder it gets and the older these plastic things are, the harder it is to get these nuts out, but I'll get it out. Oh, it's so cold this morning though. I didn't see much on the positive, but there's quite a bit of corrosion on the negative for sure. So I didn't even get that nut out because I kind of gave up on it, but I'm probably going to try a little bit harder on this negative one since there's more corrosion. Here's what I mean. I'm talking about these shoes are reliable. I can trust these bad boys when I'm out at work. Ain't nothing going to happen. Alright, had to use these pliers like so to pry the plastic rubber off here. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Almost shot it back out into my face. Alright. Is that the issue? So many times it has been. Let's see today. bit of corrosion on there too. Can you see that? Alright, just gonna make sure I get some silicone paste around the base here where I'm not gonna be able to apply it afterwards because there was some corrosion down there. That way it doesn't corrode up more. Slide that in there. Where is it at? There it is. Come on. Alright, now I can reassemble it and test it for real. Oh man, when I was loading on my jack this morning, pinched my hand all the way through my glove. So luckily I had the glove on though. Not like my steel toe boots. Need some steel palm gloves. Alright, I just hooked this battery up. I heard a door chime I didn't hear last time, but it went off, so maybe it doesn't go on for long and I just didn't notice it. Oh, that looks better already. It does look like it has low voltage though. Okay, that jump box just warmed up. It should be ready. Let's see if it starts. Nah, still might be that starter then. Okay, not hearing the starter click anymore, so it's probably that. Well, I'm not sure how easy this starter is going to be to replace. I have no idea, but I'm chuckling because this is the easiest starter I've had to test in a long time. I'm just above the passenger front tire right here. There's the signal wire to the starter, so I can test if it's grounded. It's definitely dirty, so I can recommend a few things like a valve cover gasket and whatnot, but this truck's so old, I don't know if it's worth it. I would test, my ground, test my power right there, and test my signal, so let's do it. Okay, we got a ground on the signal wire right now. That's good. That's power. Battery voltage on the body of the starter is grounded, so all we gotta do is try and start it with this resting on the signal wire and take a video of that. See if I can hear that from there. Alright, just double checking that the motor turns down there, so I'm spinning the alternator. That's a good way to tell if something like an alternator can spin it, then it's nice and loose, and it did, so it's that starter. All right, I've got the starter. Let's pull it out. There we go. And there's the key. Let's go ahead and replace this starter. Should be fun. About an hour. Okay, tons of oil down here, so I might get messy. But here's the starter bolts right here. So those two should come out. I've already got the battery disconnected, so it's not going to short out, but I'm going to disconnect it first. I was wondering if I'd be able to do that from down here, but I think it's going to be way easier from right here. So I'm going to go out first and disconnect the signal wire and the positive battery cable, and then I'll come back down here and take it loose. And it should slide right out of here. I wasn't sure, being four-wheel drive, what sort of configuration it would have with the transmission and how hard that would be. But fortunately, that looks like it's going to slide out easy. Here's that new transmission that was put in. It wasn't painted carefully, but I'm sure it was rebuilt carefully. Okay, I just got those wires disconnected. Yeah, I thought that was like a... And that's what I was thinking, that little connector on the end there looks like it's been put on sometime afterwards, but it should be working because we had good signal. So rip this out real quick. Just a little con on the dust shield, but no big deal. Right there, it sticks out a little bit, but that's it. That's how you get one out. That one in particular, pretty straight and forward. Straight and forward, pretty straightforward. Okay, as usual, somehow that went in a little easier than it came out. And I just tightened that down real quick. I just put those in by hand when I was holding it up and started them both at the same time, so neither of them are cross-threaded. All right, I just got everything reconnected here. Too bright, is that the problem? So this should start. Let's get it off the jack. Okay, that should do it. Easy. That's a job well done. That's super satisfying. I'm excited to let the customers know this thing's running like great. I've got to get out of here and go do another diagnosis.